I voted on that online poll an embarrassing amount of times. I don't know why. Like it doesn't really matter to me all that much. But I just want to see them beat Eminem because I can't stand him. Awful hot coffee pot, mom spaghetti. Get the fuck out of here with that. My introduction to Duran was as a kid hearing. We had an intercom system in the house, so that we had the main like radio controlled in the kitchen, and every room had their own little intercom. You know what I'm talking about. And Hungry Like the Wolf came on, and I've never heard anything like that. Like it was like what my idea of a rock band from the future would sound like. It had that really heavy metal guitar and those synths, those synths from the controller, just blew my mind. I was like, this is amazing. I didn't see the videos or even see them until after I'd bought the Rio cassette, and yeah, I was in immediately. I liked the whole thing. To me, I mean, I didn't really know anything about genres at that point. You know, it came out in '82. I was 11. I didn't 12 maybe. I don't know. I'm not good with math, but the point is, you know, until that point, I'd listened to rock bands. I was a big Kiss fan, as a lot of little kids were in that time period, and I just started listening to like stuff like Journey and REO Speedwagon, Arena stuff, and I just never heard anything like that. It seemed like the music like superheroes would make or something. And then when I did see them, I was like, wow, their look kind of fit the music, and it really influenced me. I mean, in fact, to this day, I still wear makeup. Not at the moment, but and with older age, I've gone a little bit more in the Dave Vanian direction instead of the not so much the Nick Rhodes direction. A little bit less color, more goth. But anyway, yeah, that song just blew my mind, and then the whole album blew my mind. So it's good to see them in. It's good to see them in. I'm glad Andy's coming back to perform with them. I had a hard time the second time he left. The first time he left, to me, it wasn't all that big of a deal, because when I was that age, I was cycling through music so quickly. I'd moved into a heavy metal direction. And while I still kept tabs on Duran, by the time Notorious came out, I just wasn't that interested anymore. I don't even know if I bought Notorious when it first came out. I bought it, you know, later. In fact, a couple years later, one of my friends, Melissa, was a fan. She was into them and kept up with everything. And when, I think it was Decade, that Greatest Hits thing came out, it reminded me of how good, you know, the singles were. And from there I went backwards, picked up the things I'd missed, which was Notorious and Big Thing. And I've been obsessed ever since. Until Andy left for a second time in 2006. And then I was just like, I just kind of threw my hands up with the whole thing. I didn't really love Astronaut. It just, I don't think they did either. There's some good stuff on it, but it just felt very confused. It felt like they didn't know what direction to move into. And I don't think they did. And plus, with all the label problems and lack of management, which I think they're managing themselves at the time, it took them years to get their shit together with that album. Plus, they wanted a major. And at that time, when they had the reunion, they got back together, they had just come off of a stretch of diminishing returns. However, musically, I love those albums. I love those Cucarullo albums. I thought Pop Trash was great. I love Medazzleland. I liked all that stuff. So when they got Andy Taylor back, you know, I was expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but Astronaut was just really underwhelming to me. You know, in fact, there's demos from that album where the songs are a lot better than the ones that appeared on it. And I think they knew that it wasn't what it could have been. And the album, the Reportage album, which they never released, was kind of sounding to me like, from what they were talking about, to be a course correction of some kind. Again, the thing with Astronaut too, I think they're not that great at picking singles these days. Was it Nice? Yeah, Nice. That was probably the one they should have led with, and they didn't. Some of it was hokey. I thought Reach Up with Sunrise was hokey. It just, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. But yeah, so I was psyched for the Reportage thing, because listening to them talk about it and how the direction they were going into sounded good. So when Andy left so they could work with Timbaland and fucking Justin Timberlake, I was just like, what the? Talk about losing the plot. I guess at that time, and this happened with a lot of artists, labels were approaching artists to work with Timbaland. Trent Reznor talked about how they tried to do that to him. Some of them took the bait. Chris Cornell did, and made a really silly album. They do this in the music industry where they get a guy that they kind of want to put over. So they'll approach bands that have been around a while or need some kind of refresh, and they'll try to get them with the current big name. What a mistake that was. It sounds to me like that album, the Red Carpet album, sounds like Simon Le Bon singing on like a Timbaland album. It just didn't work. It didn't work, you know. It's not like he's a bad producer. I don't think his stuff is bad. It's good for what he does. But if I couldn't think of a band that is farther away from what he's known for and does musically. What a disaster. So the 1-2 punch of Andy leaving and in that album, I walked. I was out. I was out for a while. I was so out, right, that they came here on the Paper Gods tour. I didn't go. That's fucking crazy, like, to think about. I'd seen them a bunch of times already, but yeah, I just wasn't feeling it at all. I was salty about it, man. Hell, All You Need Is Now, which is a great album, came and went. I don't even think I investigated it. I was just done with them. I was like, all right. It was enough to lose Andy, but to try to go with some misguided hip hop album, it was beyond parody. I don't know. I think I kind of understand the position at the time. They were just trying to get back in the game, and I think they did it because they thought it would help them. It would keep the record company happy, and it may give them a bump in relevance. And this is something they've always chased. You know, much to my and other fans' annoyance, where they're so worried about being on the charts and being relevant that they'll really make goofy music sometimes. Like, there's some stuff on the Paper Gods album that's goofy too, and it's like just done these, you know, duets with these different people to try to get some sort of relevance. When they forget about that stuff is when they're at their best. Future Past is amazing. I love that album. They still have their collaborations and different people playing on it, but it seems like the idea of chart relevance is secondary to just good music. And that I mean, I don't know, I think that might be the best one maybe since the Arcadia thing, you know. I mean, it's really, really good, Future Past. Maybe I'm overselling it because it's new. I tend to do that, but so yeah, I mean, I got back in, I don't know, like 4 years ago, and I really got back in, caught up on all the stuff that I'd missed, and, you know, good luck. They don't need the luck. Good for them. Glad to see they got that accolade. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.